Let's be blunt. Most companies are terrible at hiring back-end developers. They post vague job descriptions and ask trivia instead of testing real system skills. The result? Hires who talk a good game but can't build scalable systems. Downtime, security holes, and a demoralized team. These aren't hypothetical. A bad back-end hire can introduce subtle, catastrophic flaws that surface months later. You often don't notice until it's too late. This short guide gives you clear, compliant steps to assess candidates effectively. You'll get the core skills to screen for, soft skill tests, sourcing tips, and tools that keep things fair. Let's start with what a back-end developer actually does. They build and maintain the machinery that makes your app work: databases, servers, application logic, and APIs. Think of them as the master chefs behind the kitchen, invisible but essential. Hire right, and your product scales. Hire wrong, and everything collapses. The right hire builds robust, secure, maintainable systems. The wrong hire leaves a tangled mess and heavy technical debt. Ready? Here's a practical framework you can use today. First, the technical skills that are non-negotiable. Write the JD with clarity. Be specific about tech, scope, and responsibilities. Next, we'll separate must-haves from nice-to-haves and show you exact interview questions to use. When you write a job description, clarity is your best friend. Distinguish absolute non-negotiable skills from nice-to-have extras. Be specific. Must-have deep proficiency with SQL databases like PostgreSQL, query optimization, and schema design. Or hands-on experience with NoSQL when your product requires it. Must-have explicit language experience. Node.js, say Node.js. Java plus Spring, say so. System design and architecture are core requirements, not extras. Look for candidates who can explain trade-offs, monoliths versus microservices, and when to use synchronous versus asynchronous processing. A deep understanding of API design, RESTful or GraphQL, is essential. Message queues like Kafka or RabbitMQ are practical experience we recommend. Think scalability and performance from day one. Extras, cloud provider experience, AWS or Azure is useful but learnable. Familiarity with CI/CD tools helps, but principles matter more than exact tools. Treat these as tiebreakers. Avoid listing every technology you ever touched. It scares away good candidates. Focus on 2 or 3 core technologies in a short bonus list. This attracts the right applicants and signals you know what matters. A brilliant developer who can't communicate is a liability, not an asset. Clear, concise communication is the top soft skill for back-end engineers. They must translate complex technical concepts for PMs, designers, and front-end engineers. Problem-solving is a trait. Curiosity, resilience, and tenacity matter. They dig into logs, form hypotheses, and test them until they find the root cause. Patience and persistence are indicators of long-term success. Ownership and accountability separate good from great engineers. Look for clean, well-tested, maintainable code, not just code that works. They think about edge cases, security, and load. Use behavioral questions that draw on past experience. Don't ask hypotheticals alone. Ask, tell me about a time you had to explain a complex technical decision to a non-technical colleague. How did you approach it and what was the outcome? Ask, describe the most challenging bug you fixed. Walk me through diagnosis and resolution. For ownership, tell me about a time a project you owned failed or missed a deadline. What did you do and what did you learn? Look for concrete actions and learning, not excuses. Their stories reveal much more than hypothetical answers ever will. Use consistent scoring and evidence-based notes to compare candidates. A standardized scorecard keeps the conversation job-focused and fair. Next, where to find candidates and how to vet them practically. Forget generic job boards as your first play. Top sources: 1. Employee referrals. 2. GitHub. 3. Stack Overflow or niche tech communities. Referrals from trusted employees are often the highest ROI. On GitHub, look for meaningful contributions and code quality, not just activity. On Stack Overflow, quality answers indicate clear communication and depth. Open source history is a public portfolio of real-world problem-solving. Niche boards, Python Go, can yield targeted applicants. Use an ATS to organize candidates and ensure nothing falls through the cracks. For assessments, prefer small, real-world take-homes, no multi-day assignments. Ask them to build a feature similar to day-to-day work. For example, a simple API endpoint. Review the code for clarity, tests, and deployment notes, not just correctness. Respect candidates' time. Keep take-homes to a few hours. Use a structured interview scorecard with 1-5 ratings across technical and soft skills. Require interviewers to write evidence tied to each score. This reduces bias. Blind resume review and diverse panels further guard fairness. Combine ATS workflows, standardized scorecards, and practical assessments. This yields replicable, defensible hiring outcomes. Next, common traps and compliant ways to assess motivation and cultural fit. Common traps: rushing hires, over-indexing on pedigree, and vague culture fit. Resist rush pressure. A bad hire costs months of productivity. Don't be dazzled by logos. Focus on real skills and adaptability. Standardize questions and scorecards to reduce unconscious bias. Use diverse interview panels and identical core questions for every candidate. Keep evidence-based notes. Avoid subjective descriptors. To assess motivation without illegal questions, ask job-related open prompts. Example: what part of back-end engineering energizes you most and why? Or, tell me about the last learning goal you set and how you achieved it. Define team fit as alignment with work style and values, not personal similarity. Test fit with a short paired exercise. Focus on collaboration and feedback. Listen for how they explain the how and the why. That signals depth. Weak: I used microservices. End of story. Strong: we chose microservices because payment and auth had different scaling needs. We accepted operational complexity and used Kubernetes to manage it. That answer shows trade-off thinking and ownership. Hiring is a skill. Iterate on your process and keep learning. If you hire now, visit peopleteam.com/hiring for frameworks, scorecards, and a 30-day pipeline guarantee. If this was helpful, subscribe for more hiring guides and share your toughest interview question in the comments. Good luck. Hire the person who builds the foundation, not just the feature.